Hi, my name is Bobby Tishinsky-Shimoda, and I'm a speech-language pathologist. Today I'm going to be talking to you about thickening liquids. About 15 to 22% of adults over the age of 50 in Canada can experience swallowing difficulty at some point. What people don't know is thickening liquids is not as straightforward as you may think. In fact, you may have to put quite a bit more thickener than you think to get the desired consistency. The only way to know for sure what consistency is safe for you is to have it assessed by a speech-language pathologist. With your assessment, your speech-language pathologist will tell you if you require for your liquids to be thickened and to what degree those liquids need to be thickened. Now, you may be asking yourself, why would I need to thicken my liquids? And we can go into a lot more detail in another video about the anatomy and physiology of swallowing. But for now, what you might need to know is that liquids, when they are thin, flow very quickly through your mouth and into your throat. If your airway is not able to close up quickly enough, those liquids can end up in your lungs. And if you don't have an adequate cough to bring that liquid back out, it could result in other medical complications such as aspiration pneumonia. Now, obviously, we don't want for that to happen, and that's why today I'm going to be showing you a quick tutorial about how to thicken your liquids. So this is an example of a commercially available thickening product put out by Nestle called Thicken Up. Now, anytime you buy a thickening product such as this, it will contain the important thickening instructions. So I'm just going to try and make it so you can read that. So typically, speech-language pathologists speak in the language of nectar thick, honey thick, and pudding thick. Now, on this particular package, they call the nectar consistency mildly thick, the honey moderately thick, and the pudding extremely thick. So today we're going to be thickening to a honey consistency. So on this package, it says for every 125 milliliters, you would require 2 scoops of thickening agent. So it's very important to recognize 125 milliliters is about half a cup. It's not a lot of liquid. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like within a glass. It is not very much water. So keep in mind when you're thickening, it's very important to measure the water and really become familiar with how much water is going to go in potentially your favorite cup. So you know that it's always going to be 2 scoops if you're doing a honey thick. So it's often helpful to kind of have a go-to glass and be able to get used to measuring it the first few times, and then eventually you can get more comfortable with eyeballing it. So the other thing to recognize is when you're putting the thickener in, it doesn't thicken immediately. So I'm going to put in my 2 scoops, 1, 2, and I'm going to immediately start stirring it because I don't want it to clump up. Okay, so we don't want them to clump up. I find sometimes if you do get a few clumps, you can also sort of squeeze them over on the sides of the glass, just to kind of, as if you were making a gravy, just to make sure all of those lumps are out. And stirring it. Now, it's important to recognize that this is not ready, okay? Just like a gravy, it will come to its full thickness after a few minutes. In fact, on the side of this package, it actually says to wait, I believe, 1 to 5 minutes. So let's see here. Stir briskly with a spoon until completely dissolved. Clear fluids will thicken within 1 to 5 minutes, and nutritional supplements will thicken within 15 to 20 minutes. So this can be used with all liquids. It's important to recognize both hot liquids and cold liquids need to be thickened. Broths of soup need to be thickened. The milk that goes in your cereal needs to be thickened. Anything that's a liquid. So if you're not sure, certainly check with your speech-language pathologist for more instructions. But the other thing that a lot of people are not aware of is ice cream is not a thickened liquid. It is actually a thin liquid. The way you could tell is as the ice cream melts, the ice cream itself becomes very thin. So you could see it dropping off the spoon. A lot of ice creams would probably be about between a thin and a nectar consistency. So you want to make sure, if you're not supposed to be having thin liquids, ice cream is something that would be problematic. So you would want to ensure that it is also thickened. Another thing I wanted to bring to your attention, just to give you an idea, if you were to go to Tim Hortons and order an extra small is 8 ounces of liquid, which is equivalent to approximately 1 cup or 250 milliliters. So you would actually require 4 scoops of this for 1 extra small Tim Hortons coffee. For a small, which is 10 ounces, you would require 5 scoops. For a medium, 7 scoops. For a large, 10 scoops. And for an extra large, 12 scoops. So it gives you an idea how much of this product you would need to use for each of those sizes, so you can get a sense of how much of this product you would actually need to use. So just as a reminder, it may not always be intuitive. Make sure you follow the instructions on the product that you're purchasing, because it's not necessarily going to be the same. The scoop that comes in this package might not be the same as the one in a different brand. So it's very important to read the label, read how many milliliters is needing to go with the correct number of scoops, and make sure that you are thickening all of the liquids, not just water and juice. Anything that has a liquid component in it does need to be thickened if you have been advised by the speech pathologist you're working with that you require a thickened liquid as part of your diet recommendations. Thanks for listening. Hi again. So you just had a few minutes to allow this water to thicken. So I just wanted to show you finally the final product, the honey thick liquid. You can see it is the thickness of honey, and that took about 5 minutes to get to this consistency. So you'll see when it pours quite a bit slower than regular water would flow, and that's exactly what we want to allow an individual with difficulty swallowing thin liquids that extra time just for their muscles to relax as they're swallowing, or react, I mean. Thank you so much.